One of the most fundamental tools that I do in my office allows my patients to monitor how they are maximizing on their health, maximizing on their performance, and maximizing on their weight loss, and that is the body composition. Every single patient in my office will have at least one body composition reading, which allows me to see how healthy their body is. And what this body composition machine does is it allows me to read body fat percentage, muscle mass percentage, and water distribution. And the reason why this is so important is because the more body fat we have on our bodies, the more likely we are to harbor more toxins, the more likely we are to have cardiovascular disease, diabetes, metabolic disease, and we really need to be keeping our fat mass percentage as normalized as we possibly can. The other value that I always look at is muscle mass, and muscle mass is one of the best indicators that we have for longevity and for health in totality. So the more lean muscle mass we have on our frame as we age, the healthier we're going to be, the longer we're going to live, the better we're going to live. The final measurement is water distribution. And the reason why this is so important is, number one, for my weight loss patients, they tend to carry around a lot of bloat on their body, which is why their pants just aren't fitting as well as they'd like, or their t-shirts are fitting a little more snug. And with that bloat, it could be from cortisol, which is our stress hormone, just packing on the fat and water around our midsection. It could be that there's some sort of inflammation going on in the body, and no different than when you bang your elbow up against a wall and it swells. If there's chronic inflammation in the system, the same thing will happen throughout the body. And number two, the reason why this is so important is because it allows me to assess how healthy the environment is that your cells are living in. So if your cells are really small and dehydrated, it allows me to know that the environment that they're living in is incredibly toxic, and whether that toxicity is coming from inflammation, from stress, from heavy metals, from an infection, I won't know by doing the body composition, but it gives us a good place to start. So I'm sure you're curious about what the report looks like, and we're going to go through it in detail right now. As you can see, the first diagram we have here is showing us a number of arrows inside these shaded boxes. What these arrows are a reflection of you on that particular day at that particular moment. And when it comes to getting these measurements done, women should do it around days 7 to 10 of their cycle. Men can come in at any point in time, but we want to be consistent. And then we get a report similar to this. So the first thing you'll see on the left-hand side is fat mass, fat-free mass, which is everything other than fat, total body water, extracellular fluid, and intracellular fluid. And these shaded boxes are where, on average, we find most people to be within, and that's where we'd like you to be. So you can see on this particular person, all the arrows are pretty much within those shaded boxes, right where they need to be. The next thing that we'll be looking at is the body composition report. And when we look at this report, it's broken down into more values. The key values that I like to look at is the phase angle, which is a representation of how easy it was for the machine to read your body. The cleaner your body is, the higher that value goes. For most patients, I want to see you at a 7.0 or higher, regardless of age. But I have seen a number of patients that are 18, 19, or in their mid-20s that are as low as 5.5, and that's just not okay. So we need to keep that phase angle nice and high. We need to keep our body nice and clean. The other value you're going to see here is the fat mass percentage. And again, the more fat mass we have on our body outside that normalized range, the more likely we are to store heavy metals, toxins, and other things that our body just does not need to be holding on to. The body mass index is a measurement of height over weight, so this gives us an idea as to where you fit in within the body mass index scale, whether you are a normal weight for your height, obese, or just overweight. Again, this isn't a value that I pay much attention to because it's no similar than when we step on the scale and just have that weight measurement. It doesn't give us enough information. But the active tissue mass or the muscle mass is incredibly important. And you can see this individual is 38.2%, and where I want most of my patients to be is around 40%. Again, the more lean muscle mass you have on your frame, the healthier you are. So when we're looking at the fluid distribution, this is another key thing that I look at with my patients. So you can see here again, these arrows represent where this individual is within those shaded boxes. And the key area that I really want you to pay attention to is this in the square. You really want that extracellular fluid to be as low as possible and that intracellular fluid to be as high as possible without going way outside of the range. And the reason why is, just like a glass of salt water, the saltier that water is, the more water we have to put in to dilute it. Now, imagine that salt water to be toxins. Your cells will shrink their natural intracellular fluid to dilute the environment that they're living in, meaning that the environment that they're living in is incredibly toxic, and we need to clean that up as soon as we possibly can. And then finally, to my patients that are dedicated to their health and want to maximize on their health, on their weight loss goals, and on their performance, we will do multiple measurements over the first couple months, if not years, and we can plot them on the graph. So the nice thing is this all comes part of a software that I have in my office, and it allows us to plot your progress point by point, so you can see the areas that still need a bit of work, the areas that you're improving on. And this is an example of someone who is putting on a fair amount of muscle mass, and you can see it going up over the points, and then at the same time they're losing fat mass. But I will tell you, this same individual did not lose a pound of weight. In fact, they actually gained a few pounds. And this is why the body composition is just so incredibly important for my patients, because you cannot allow your progress to be dictated by that number on the scale. You need to have a more comprehensive view of how your body is functioning, and I can give that to you. Now remember, we're always trying to maximize our health, maximize our performance, maximize our weight loss, and you can do that by calling me or getting in contact with me to join the Maxim movement like all of my other patients have done. And I strongly encourage you to get a hold of me, and we can get you started on how you can maximize your health. And as always, have a happy and healthy day.